amazing antisocial bastards. That's right, you bunch of misfits, you.
Welcome to episode 69 of There It's a Podcast. I'm Brock, and my co-host, as always, is Brooks.
Nice. What up? What up?
Not much. We're starting the episode with some sad news, unfortunately. In the week since we were last on, friend of the show, Dave Butcher Gillum, we had on the show not long ago. Unfortunately, he passed away suddenly. You know, he was a young man, late 40s, I think, from memory. So condolences go out to family and friends over there in Wales. The few interactions I had with him, he was a straight shooter.
Yeah.
For want of a better word. Didn't mince his words.
That might be the perfect description.
Very dry sense of humor as well, and very funny.
Yeah, we had him on a few of the live shows. I think multiple times. And he helped me from bombing a few times for sure.
And he really, I guess Americans would get pissed if people think you're Canadian, and Australians would get pissed if people think from New Zealand. If you said to him straight off the bat, "Are you English?" Like if you didn't know your accents, he'd fire up and he'd be like, "No, I'm Welsh." So he's a proud Welshman. He'll be sorely missed from our point of view as well as the Antisocial Network point of view, because he was a driving force behind that, behind the scenes, as well as doing podcast appearances.
Mm-hmm.
I dare say he'll be creating havoc upstairs.
Havoc.
Shout out to Dave Butcher Gillum.
Beautiful eulogy.
I have had an eventful morning a couple of mornings ago.
Hit me, brother.
It never ceases things to happen where I live, because I live in a shithole.
I was gonna say, ever since you've moved, you've seemed to have kind of this pretty bad run of luck.
It's not a run of luck. It's just the location. You know, it's
I guess
cheap rent. Why is it cheap? Well,
I wonder why.
So I was woken up a bit before 5 a.m. Tuesday morning.
Stick.
And it was a weird waking up.
Hard as a rock.
No. As in the way I was woken up. It was a combination of being woken up by sound, light, and smell.
Oh, Jesus.
It was like three senses that, got me out of my slumber. And the smell was of what turned out to be smoke. The house, I believe it was 3 doors up. So there was where I live, then 2 houses, then the house got gutted by fire. So there was 2 fire trucks, one at the end of the street, pretty much blocking off the street, and they had the hose in the ground, obviously, to get the water out of the mains or whatever it is.
Sure.
A truck further down the street in front of the house that was on fire. I looked out the window and I was like, "Oh, fire trucks!
What the fuck is going on?"
And then I could see over the 2 roofs of the 2 houses in between us. I could see the flames, licking up into the sky. Like, oh, okay.
Oh, Jesus.
So that was going on. So I tried to go back to bed, but there was a smell of smoke. I'm like, I had all my windows closed except for my bathroom window, but I had the door of my bathroom.
Oh, of course. And smoke is just so strong, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, great, I better get back to sleep. So I get up the next morning, do some shopping or whatever, and then on the way back, I thought I'll drive past just to see if it's just a little bit damaged or if it's...
Have to.
But no, it's fully, like I said, gutted. Oh. There's a fence up out the front. There's tape around, sort of like, not police tape, but like emergency services tape. And then it's like, that house is fucked.
Yikes.
I don't know if it was a meth lab or what it was, but it got burnt. And I then searched on Google and I put in the suburb and I put fire and it came up. The story was behind a paywall, so I couldn't read the whole story, but I got the headline. And apparently, a neighbor ran in trying to. He thought someone was in there. He thought his neighbors were in there, but they weren't, obviously. And yeah, he got treated for smoke inhalation. But it's like, I'm not going in for a neighbor. That might sound harsh, but I would only go in to save someone if they were family.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, if they were just a neighbor, it's like, I don't know what you're doing in your house that's caused the fire. Like I said, it could be a meth lab. It could be, you've dropped a cigarette because you're smoking a crack pipe, or especially in this area.
Seems it.
So I know it's, no, that's my brother's house. That's my sister's house. That's my mum's house. It's like, yeah, no, I'm pretty sure everything that's, if you've gone to sleep, none of those are smokers, by the way. So I know it wouldn't be, they got drunk or they passed out in a cigarette. It would be something faulty, I guess, or something like that. But no, stuff risking my life for someone who might be leading the best of lives anyway.
Correct. I'm also not a firefighter. Like, the training they go through, fucking miss me with going into a burning building.
True. Yeah, I think the headline was, they would have been goners for sure. So in other words, yeah, if they were in the house.
So would have I been.
That was it. Yeah, it's like, I'm not, jumping in, grabbing someone over my shoulder. I haven't seen Backdraft, but I believe most people in Backdraft die.
I think so.
Nah, stuff that.
You've also clearly grown up since the last time there was flashing lights and commotion outside your window, because last time your car was broken into and you decided to stay in bed. So this time I'm glad that you got up to investigate what was going on this time.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure if it was police lights.
Like, not again.
I didn't hear any sirens.
Well, that early, they probably don't need them, right? Not many people on the road.
I still think they would, just to be sure.
I know around here, like, if it's super early or super late, and I mean, you can see the lights, they usually won't go with sirens unless, like, they see people. But most of the time, the roads are just so empty.
It doesn't matter what time it's here. Like 4:30 this morning, someone was revving up their dirt bike up and down the street at 4:30 in the morning.
That's idiotic. I would have lost my shit. Those are the worst type of people.
Yeah. As soon as I'm able to afford to move to a higher echelon of suburb,
I think
you won't be able to see my dust.
I think any other location is a higher echelon from the way you've described this place. It sounds like you're living in like 1980s Compton.
Well, it's kind of like, you've seen those videos where on YouTube they'll go down a street. There won't be any sound, or it's just the sound of the street, really. And they just film, and there's people wandering the street on the side of the street.
Like they do it in like Philadelphia and like New York.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Most days you'll hear someone walk by and like, yeah, fucking cunt, and
what the fuck?
and then people arguing with each other. And like the other day, I got out of my car. I was doing my laundry at the laundromat. I was drinking a coffee, got out of my car, and I wanted to put the coffee in the bin, the rubbish bin. But I had to wait for a guy on his bike that had one of those, those long handle prong things you get. You push up one end and it clasps down the other.
Yeah.
Old people use to grab things.
Yeah.
He was foraging through the rubbish bin with that. And I'm like, mate, I want to put my cup in the bin. You put things in the bin. You don't take them out.
He's got to get his fucking drug money, dude.
Yeah. The main mode of transportation is bicycle.
What are you stopping his hustle for?
Electric scooter, and then you've got the other end where you've got Mercedes and you've got the rich cars. So you can see the people on the scooters. Yeah. So the people on the electric scooters are the middle sort of, go between ones. The ones on the bikes and the ones just walking around are the ones that are the main users. The ones that have got the Mercedes and BMWs and whatnot
They got the
out the
goodies.
front of a shitty house, by the way.
Duh.
They're the ones that are, yeah. So,
So you are
you
living.
kind of
You're
work
like
it.
living where Kendrick Lamar raps about.
And then you hear the police helicopter every so often go over, and it's like, okay, they're looking for someone.
I I do want to see it. Like Australia's slum life is what this sounds like. I'm very fascinated by it.
Well, see, that's the thing. Before I moved into the suburb,
I'd call it the slums.
yeah, I looked online, and for a few people, when I say a few people, one person told me, they said, "Oh, my sister lives not in that area, but she lives around different suburb of that city," and she said, avoid these suburbs. I'm like, okay. And then this came up where I lived. This where I live now came up. It's like, oh, it's a good price, and this and that and the other.
Again, I wonder why it was a good price.
Yeah, and then I told them, and they're like, oh, okay. And then once my car got broken into, he's like, yeah, you got to move out of that area, man.
Thanks for the warning.
Yeah, but I looked online, I looked on Reddit, and I did, ratings of suburbs, and it was kind of 50-50. People were like, yeah, no, it's a shithole, and I was there, and I had nothing but trouble, and people were robbing this, and there's all these druggos, and there's this and that, and whatnot. A lot of, like public, what they call commission housing, public housing, and they put, the lower
Low income.
social, economic people in and
I
all
know.
that
I
sort of
know
thing.
what you're putting down here.
But then there was the other side, were like, yeah, but they're knocking a lot of those old buildings down and new buildings are being built that are pushing out, because people can't afford the new buildings that would have been put into them previously. So that you're getting a new type of resident. And it's like, oh, no, it's better.
So you fell
Better
for
than
the
what it
trap,
used to
basically.
be 20 years ago. And da-da-da-da-da. So I was like, oh, okay, it looks like it's on the improve. So I get where I get. And then I saw something like, yeah, this side of this whatever street's really good, but this street's no good from here onwards. And I'm like, great, I'm in the here onwards bit. I'm like on 8 miles. Sort of thing, the wrong side of the tracks. But
I think in your case, the saying the grass isn't always greener. I think at this point, just having grass might be greener, is what it sounds like.
yeah, different type of grass. I'll tell you that much.
It sounds like you're living in where like impoverished rappers rap about.
Well, I have never seen, and you may have seen it before, but
Probably.
on my I've never been to a supermarket.
Oh, interesting.
In the supermarket car park, right? So here, you'll have a couple of ways. You'll get your shopping cart. You'll go in, you'll do your shopping, you'll take it out, and then there's usually a couple of rows within the car park you can push it in.
Yeah.
If you're lazy, you don't want to take it all the way back in, you just push it in there, and then
You make some poor minimum wage high school kid come out and grab it in the rain.
grab about 20 of them and push them in.
Yeah.
Right. Then there's another way.
Did you think we didn't have those?
No. I didn't know how you worked it, because there's another system as well.
Also, at first, I thought you were suggesting as well that we didn't have supermarkets. It's like, no, I've been to plenty of supermarkets in my life, Brock.
But then the other way as well is the shopping carts will be, we call them trolleys, shopping trolleys. So I thought shopping cart.
That's just stupid. Hey.
They'll all be interlocked together.
Oh, yes.
And then you put
yes.
in a certain coin.
You need like a quarter or whatever, yeah.
Well, here it's like $2 or $1.
Jesus Christ.
I know. Yeah. So you put that in.
You don't have guns in Australia. You would have the most crime-ridden area. This sounds like hell on earth.
Yeah, so you put your $2 in, grab your trolley, whatever.
Fucking
but then you have to return it back to get your $2. The supermarket where I'm at, where I go to in the main shopping complex where I live, has the $2 thing. You put it in, you get it. But they also have, you go out into the car park, and there are signs on the edge of where the car park would then go to the pavement, and and then there's grass, and then there's road sort of thing.
I think I know where this is going.
They have a sign that the shopping carts are electronically monitored.
Yup, and they have automatic
The
brakes.
wheels will lock up.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. We have a few stores in not so great areas that have the same mechanisms.
I've never seen that before in my life.
Wild.
And I've lived in about over 10 places, you know, and I've lived city, country, you know, I've never, even when I was in the States and I
Yeah.
shopped, I never saw that.
We have them in a few of the what you would consider not so great areas of Massachusetts where it is the same thing. It's like once this cart leaves this premises, its wheels are locking up because so many people would just steal shopping carts, I guess. Like, apparently, there's an epidemic of stealing shopping carts that I was unaware of.
Yeah, back when I was a teenager, I used to work for a supermarket, and before they closed at, I don't know what time they'd closed, let's say 2 p.m. on a Saturday, I'd have to go out just prior and, you know, bring in all the trolleys so there was none left
Carts.
overnight in the car park. But you just wouldn't go in the car park. You'd have to do the whole lap of the block
Yes.
just to check. And you know, you get about 3 or 4.
Some douchebag parked way away. He's like, well, I'm just going to leave it here, I guess.
Yeah, they didn't have any interlocking thing and they didn't have anything that brakes on the wheels. And I'm looking at this sign, I'm like, are you serious?
People love their shopping carts, I guess. I've always thought when I was a kid, it always did cross my mind. I was like, this would be a cool toy to have at home. It's like, yeah, for maybe 5 minutes until I like fall out of it and break my neck. It's like, what would I need this for? And I was like, yeah, I probably
Yeah.
would steal one. And then I noticed it more and more. At first, there was like a shopping mall that had it. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. Like, you don't want people walking through the mall with a cart. And then I started noticing it at this other store, like I said, in kind of a not so great area of the neighborhood. It's like, and it's the same thing. You got to put in the quarter to get. I remember being a kid, and you had to put in the quarter. I was like, "Mom, what the fuck is this? This is bullshit." Like I thought this was America. Like just shut. She's like, "It's a fucking quarter. Shut the hell up. $2 is fucking crazy. That means you have an even more insane epidemic of people stealing golf carts, shopping carts in Australia, which is wild."
Out the front, they've got like a no smoking section.
I'm sure that rule is listened to a lot.
Oh, they will either be right on the line. It's like, what's the point? You're blowing your smoke back. Or they'll take their last, you know, puff. Now it's more vaping than actual cigarettes, but they'll take their last inhale while they're on one side of the line, but by the time they exhale it, they're already nearly in the actual shopping center, and you get a face
I would
full of
probably do something like that. I won't knock someone for that. I'm notorious for doing that.
Did you have anything as exciting as a fire happen near your house this week?
No, nothing ever really happens around my house. The only thing I told you before we started, the only thing that happened to me.
Anything that ticked you off this week?
Yeah, it was going to. You're so lucky you said it before I got the fucking sentence out because I would have shit all over that stupid joke. But correct, I was diagnosed with Lyme disease for the first time in my life, which is crazy because we've had ticks all the time. I think I got it when I was golfing. I was talking to people after, and a lot of people said, "Oh, the course has been crawling with ticks." I was like, "Well, I haven't fucking seen any." And they're like, "Yeah, no shit. Clearly you didn't see it." I was like, "All right, this is not a time for mean jokes." It's like, I'm sickly.
Lime is an underrated flavor.
Yes, it is. In a lot of things. In a lot of things. I was a big lime guy until this. After this happened, I would never want to hear the word lime. Ooh, I have something that's really good. This is a recommendation, as they say. At our Wendy's here, we have one of those stupid Coke machines that has like the million flavors, which everything kind of tastes like shit from it.
And we should, before you go any further, should clarify that your Wendy's is different to our Wendy's.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you don't have the square patties, which is stupid.
We don't have any patties.
Yeah, which is stupid.
Hot dogs and ice creams and
Hot dogs is so fucking weird for Wendy's.
But it's different. It's different Wendy's. It's like two girls called Wendy.
Yeah, you got the ugly stepchild Wendy. We have the hot Wendy. You made me lose my point.
Yours is the old haggard Wendy because it's been around longer.
Fuck you. Listen, sometimes there's nothing wrong with mileage, okay? I think. I think. Anyway, apparently I was bit by a tick. I was in the ER for 8.5 hours. They ran a shit ton of tests. At one point I got in there, I was super dehydrated. They're like, you're gonna need, or we're gonna need a urine sample from you. It's like, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you guys. It's like, there's not a chance in hell I'm pissing anytime soon. It's like, I haven't been able to keep any water down. Like, oh no, we're gonna give you fluids and you'll be fine. Like, okay, sick.
Did they do the tap? Did they run the tap to make you piss?
Like the what? No.
You've never done that trick when, you go into like a toilet or whatever. You're like, oh, I need to piss, or you want, let's say if you've got a kid and you want them to go to the toilet before bed, if you run the water, you turn the tap on. So you sit on the toilet, you turn the tap on, and the sound of the water running. Inside.
Sure, yeah. My problem was I was so dehydrated I wasn't gonna piss. I was like, and they're like, no, once you get the fluid, you'll pee. It's like, that's great and everything. It's like, could I get a nice water? Because at this point I'd been puking like all morning. They're like, no, because you're gonna get fluids. It's like, what? Like, how does that make? I was like, it's water. It's like, how could that fuck anything up? And they're like, no, you can't get a nice water. It's like, my mouth is, so I'm like, fine, I'll just wait for the fluids. Took them an hour and a half before they finally came and gave it to me. It's like, okay, awesome. And they're like, so about that urine sample. It's like, are you fucking me? It's like, I told you I was dehydrated. I wanted an ice water. I've sat here for an hour and a half. Like, what? So basically we had to wait for that. I ended up passing out. They gave me some sort of like painkiller that didn't work. And then that's when they were like, oh, we're going to look at your blood for Lyme. And they're like, oh, there's traces, but we have to send it out. Like, okay, fine. Like, so we'll treat it for you. They're like, we'll call you. If you don't have it, you're good. You can stop taking the medicine. Sick. Win-win. And they called me Monday and they're like, well, looks like you have it. So don't stop taking the medicine. It's like, damn it. But today is the first day I feel a little bit more normal, which is good. It just feels like the fucking flu, which sucks.
I don't think ticks are very prevalent here in Australia.
That's crazy with everything else you have. God forbid Australia gets ticks. That's a little overboard.
I'll check it out on does Australia have ticks? There are two families of ticks found in Australia, hard ticks and soft ticks. The most common hard ticks encountered in Western Australia are on the ornate kangaroo ticks and the brown dog ticks. Okay, so that's in WA. Australian ticks and the medical problems they can cause.
Lyme disease.
Let's have a look. In Australia, tick bites can lead to a variety of illnesses in people, briefly described below. Anaphylaxis and allergic reactions.
Yep.
So tick-related allergies are common in regions where ticks are normally found.
Nope, that makes sense. I would imagine where ticks are found, you can get tick-related illnesses.
Yeah, it matches up. Mammalian meat allergy and tick anaphylaxis are the most serious tick-induced allergies.
Damn, so your ticks just don't carry Lyme disease. Interesting.
Paralysis. The Australian paralysis tick is capable of causing paralysis.
Weird. You guys are really hitting the nail on the head down there.
Yeah, we ramp it up. Tick, Lyme disease, and ours is like Australian tick, hold my beer. Tick paralysis is rare in humans. Okay.
Oh, well.
As a tick must be attached for several days to inject enough toxin.
Oh.
Right.
It's going to be a big-ass tick.
Other diseases known to be transmitted by tick bites in Australia are Q fever, Queensland tick typhus, and then it's got C whatever, but another sheet, but I'm not going to go there. Flinders Island spotted fever and Australian spotted fever.
So it's either gang-related slum drug activity or tick paralysis. Welcome to Australia. Incredible. Incredible.
Hard ticks favour habitats with areas of vegetation such as forests, fields, where females lay eggs on the ground. However, they may also be found in urban areas if there are unoccupied patches of grass. Soft ticks have a wrinkled, leathery appearance. Only a few species of this type are found in Australia. and they rarely come into contact with people. In Australia, there are over 70 species of tick, the majority of
Incredible.
which are hard ticks and which come into contact with people. Only a few species of soft ticks are found in Australia, and they rarely come into contact with people. Only 17 of the tick species commonly found in Australia may attach and feed on humans.
Oh, only 17.
Yeah, but only 6 of these tick species are able to spread diseases to humans. So they're coming down a bit as we
That's
go along.
still 5 more than Massachusetts.
3 of the tick species commonly found in Australia are well known for biting and feeding on humans. These ticks
Oh,
are
great. So that's
the
what they're known
Australian,
for. Incredible.
the Australian, the Australian paralysis tick,
It's a wild ass
which
name too.
is the most notable human biting tick on the east coast of Australia. Great. The ornate kangaroo tick.
That's just the worst of both worlds because then you're obviously running into kangaroos as well.
Okay, so the Australian paralysis tick, over 95% of tick bites in people in Eastern Australia are due to the Australian paralysis tick, and most tick-borne illnesses due to this species.
Incredible.
This tick can attach to various sites of the body, including the surface of the eyeball,
Jesus
making
Christ.
removal of the tick very challenging. No shit.
What the fuck?
The Australian paralysis tick is the most important tick in Australia for several reasons. It has a geographical distribution that matches the distribution of a large proportion of Australia's population. It commonly bites humans. It can cause
Commonly.
anaphylaxis, one of the most severe effects on humans. It can cause paralysis. It can cause mammalian meat allergy, an allergy to products made from mammals. It can transmit tick-borne diseases such as Q fever and QTT. And once it's finished feeding, it will detach and drop off.
That's what I think happened to me, is it just detached and drop off. Because usually when I would golf, I would go and shower, but it might have been a day where like I went over to my buddies or something. And then next thing I knew, I had it. But now I'm back and I'm better, baby.
Yeah, so it's nowhere near where I live, even though it's on the East Coast.
That's good. That's good. Fuck ticks. I think that's our message. And fuck Australia. It's either fucking the slums or death. It's all death.
Well, that's the funny thing there. It's like they don't. We're not doing Lyme disease. That's
No,
for
we're gonna
pussies.
take it up a notch here with our ticks too.
We're going to make you either struggle to breathe or
Correct.
struggle to move.
Remove your eyeball.
Ugh, getting one on your eyeball, man.
I know.
That'd be something.
Gross. Gross.
Do we want to end it on ticks today?
That seems like the plan, I think. I've got a story I think for next week though that would interest you.
Cool. Well, until next week, we'll keep people on the edge of their seat
You're
waiting for
damn
that.
right. You're damn right.
So, links in the description. If you like us, subscribe. That'd be great. Leave a comment if you want to know anything about the podcast or anything we've discussed. We're on the Antisocial Network. Yeah, check them out, antisocialnetwork.net. A lot of good shows on there besides us, if you class us as a good show.
No.
Until next week, take it easy.
Peace.